I'd now like to welcome all of our speakers to the stage because you have heard a lot from us today, and now this is the opportunity to hear any questions that you may have. I would ask you all to utilise this very valuable opportunity. It's very rare that we get all of the market representatives in the one room with all of you, and really do draw upon their local expertise within your own business context. So if I could ask all speakers to join me on the floor. Okay, any questions? Sorry, I can't see you all because of the lights. Maybe show of hands. Here, we've got one over here. If you wouldn't mind just stating your name and your business.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hello, Anya and team. Julie McNeese from Ollie Outside Looking In. It's a general query to the panel, just to ask how important they feel foreign language interpretation might be to inbound visitors to attractions in Northern Ireland.
Okay, so maybe thank you to our colleagues from European markets.
Sure, and I haven't had the opportunity to speak yet. I'm Finola O'Mahony. I look after Europe for Tourism Ireland, so you've heard German voices and French voices, but we also have Italian and Spanish visitors coming to Northern Ireland, people from the Nordics, from Benelux, so lots of opportunity to do interpretation in foreign language. You know, it's always been a challenge, but if we want consumers and visitors to get the full experience, being able to interpret in their language means that they really are getting under the skin of things, and that's what we know culturally curious visitors want to be able to do. However, when that's not possible, having leaflets, having audio guides, and I have seen that in action, for example, on the Giant's Causeway a few years ago, walking alongside a French group that had just come in off a tour bus, and one of them wanted to attract the attention of the other, and she had her headset on, and she says, no, in French, no, leave me alone, I'm listening to Johnny, who's telling me all about the Causeway Coast. So she was engaging with a headset, but having an immersive experience. So whatever way you can give some understanding in their local market. Some markets speak better English than others, but even still, if you want to get the really good stories across, it does help to have some degree of interpretation. Would you agree, guys?
Absolutely, absolutely, all of that. And in the beginning, if that is not possible at the very, very start, for maybe some tours, the slow English, we can't say often enough. There are some wonderful insights and some wonderful anecdotes that you all have, and just to make sure that all of the foreign speakers can pick up the little nuances, slow English is how we refer to that.
Great.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm operating a newly launched Dark Hedges experience up in North Antrim. Thank you so much for your comments this morning. I'm new to the industry, so it's all a big learning curve for me. Really excited to hear that the Game of Thrones is obviously a huge point, and that clustering is a really big opportunity, as we are a small new startup venture. So, I haven't heard anything really about technology, and I'm just wondering, is that something that you see from your target customers? Is that kind of immersive, or the use of technology to differentiate, be it AI or VR or anything like that? I'm just wondering if you have anything to say on that. Thank you.
Well, there's one thing, and if you're associated with Game of Thrones, I think watch this space. We had a sneak preview of the wonderful campaign that's going to be launched internationally as part of the series of Game of Thrones being launched. So we can't actually say too much about it now, but watch this space. It's really exciting, very interactive, and using technology available to us.
And to add to that, the campaign which we ran the year before last and last year, which was around creating a tapestry for the Game of Thrones, we created an app for that. And we have had hundreds of thousands of people engage with that at a very high degree of engagement, not quite spending hours, but spending quite some time on it. And they continue to use it as a source of reference. So we're certainly using that type of technology. I think you're probably thinking more about things like headsets and virtual immersiveness, immersion into the actual stories, and that type of thing. I think is on the increase, and I would imagine would do well. But also, you can't beat the real live William in his cloak and cutting your head off. That always goes down very, very well whenever he certainly comes out to our markets.
I suppose just to add to that, Tourism Northern Ireland has run some pilot projects already and launched a fund to try and deliver that true immersion using digital technology through AI, VR and AR. But marketing technology as well is evolving at pace, and I think we shouldn't underestimate the power of that to actually reach those target market segments with pinpoint accuracy. If you don't have the people in-house to do it yourself, there are plenty of people on hand who can give you advice to do that. And again, some of the digital skills masterclasses run by Ted and I, and some of the supports online on tourismni.com, hopefully give you an insight into how technology is actually helping us refine further what we're doing. So yes, there's the immersion, there's the promotion and the campaigns, but then there's also all the data and the insight that we can then feed back into how we deliver every aspect of our businesses as well.
Yeah, technology is absolutely key, and we only just have to look at when you hear even traditional segments in those markets, how quickly they're adopting. I think it's amazing to see even how my own, your own parents, grandparents not are connected. We need to stay abreast of where that's moving. As Naomi has said, not only have been programmes running already through TED, but there's also capital development programmes to really think about how technology can add value to the quality of that experience and tell a story that maybe can't be done because of the costs that you may have in terms of labour, etc. So yes.
And if I can just add to that, I mean, we are using more and more new technology in terms of advertising and in terms of marketing your products and the country in our markets. But actually, when we're talking about technology, what is also important is the social media readiness of your products. So that means that where possible, provide the Wi-Fi for people that they can post directly from when they're there, when they are in the middle of the experience and they take their selfie, that they there and then can post it on their channels. That's something that could be.
I just add, there's technology at the experience and there's a technology in our marketing, and I think in probably all markets now, we're all about digital marketing. We're using technology to refine, who we target, how we target, right message, right channel, right place, and then using marketing technology to refine our sort of our attribution models to basically refine our understanding of what's working. But I'd agree with Tina, just at a basic level, it's all about the Instagram post, So if you have opportunities to get that selfie and post it back out, it's all about that braggable moment, and online sources are just number one for both of our segments, certainly in the US. So if you can provide Wi-Fi and just create those moments, curate those opportunities for consumers to tell their friends and everybody else that they're having a wonderful time doing whatever it is in Northern Ireland. I mean, it's very simple, but the power of that, and video particularly, the power of video is really, really significant.
And if I can just close on that, I suppose whether you are involved technologically yourself, you could be guaranteed that your visitor and the consumers are. And it's so important that you're thinking about monitoring and managing your reputation online, as well as not only creating the opportunities to sell the story, but make sure the story that's being sold is a positive one. So it all comes back to that going the extra mile and delivering exceptional customer service across the board. Thank you for that question. Any others? One over here.
Hello, my name's William McLahaney. I'm part of Slow Adventure, which is a transnational product that was released onto the marketplace last year. I'm very excited about that food is one of the top agenda, but I just think that in the marketplace, is Northern Ireland going to be grown in this area? There's these bespoke tours, because when we launched it, there was a lot of excitement, but it seems to be quite a slow burn. But do you feel that warrants more marketing, more drive to get at this new product really flying?
Would you like to take that? Amy?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I suppose I think it was Alison and Katrine both made the point. On all the platforms, you know, you do need to build that business over time. Certainly, even looking at the Republic of Ireland market, which I presented on this morning, food and drink is a core part of their experience. Roughly 10% of visitors will travel specifically for food and drink experiences, but it's up to a third of spend for visitors as a whole. So it is critical to our story and telling our story. As I think I said earlier, it is vital for us to include food and drink woven into everything that we do, because it gives a really good view of the quality of the destination for visitors.
And I think as well, we had Tracy Jeffers in Bordeaux last night, speaking about the quality of the food and the provenance and the opportunities there are to engage in the experience. Paul Cunningham from Brunel's restaurant in Milan at a press event, speaking about the foraging on the beaches as well as the wonderful produce. And I think we had a TV crew over with Wendy Gallagher here. And again, a full 30-minute programme all about the quality of the food in Northern Ireland. So we're really excited about Month of Food and the fact that this will hopefully become an annual event and something to hang our hats on and encourage that more off-season opportunity to come. And I mean, the quality, we all know the quality of the food is absolutely wonderful, but there's always a lag in the time in getting that message across, so we have to keep banging that drum and continue telling people that story and encouraging them to come and sample it themselves.
And if I can just add for the German market is people would think that Irish food is similar to food that they would get from a holiday in Scotland or in Great Britain, which is absolutely not true, obviously. So the quality of food that we have here is so much better. And but as Monica was saying, it takes some time for people to realize that. And once they're here, they obviously are totally convinced and are happy to tell all their friends about it. So, you know, even if your product is not dedicated to food, you know, make sure you have you use the opportunity with if you have a bed and breakfast, you know, make sure that you talk to people about where you source your products and these kind of things. So that's really important.
And shamelessly for you all, on the back of your food and drink, which has been a phenomenal success, Northern Ireland won Best Food Destination at the local international travel awards, and you should be pushing that out. We certainly will, aligned to all of our campaigns, as well as through a new initiative that's going to bring a bit of focus and attention out of season to food. There's a real opportunity to jump on the back of the marketing platforms that will be created there. But one of the things I would say is, in the back of your food and drink, we saw a phenomenal interest in Northern Ireland and probably a demand that currently isn't being met with the supply. So even those great quality food experiences we have at the moment, there's probably a bit of shortage in terms of availability and all of that. And I think that it's not just the tours, it's back to the point of building the quality of food you have, either your own food or referring people to good places to eat and drink. Will help us all, because that is one of the defining factors of visitor satisfaction. It can actually be the make or break. You can come and you can have the most amazing visual experiences, the most interesting learning facts, but if your breakfast is rubbish, your lunch is rubbish, and your dinner's rubbish, you're not going to go away a happy camper. So real opportunity from that food and drink element.
And I could just add to that, it can be make or break when they get here, but it can also be the tipping point as to whether they actually decide to come in the first place. If they just feel that the food experience is subpar, everything else could be great, the scenery, the culture, and all the rest of it. But if it's, well, will I go back to Italy or France, or will I try Ireland? We need to make sure that it is Ireland, not Italy and France, because Italy is sort of the gold standard. They win out every time. So I think we can all tell that story. The more we can tell the story, the more likely we are is to push a greater number of people that maybe have Ireland, Northern Ireland on their bucket list, but haven't quite, made the decision to actually travel.
Okay. Question over here, Christine.
Thank you very much. That was insightful as always. My name's Christine Watson, and I work with a number of our tourism businesses across Northern Ireland. Very, very small, one-man bands right to the big players in the councils. I was really interested by the Taste of Food Festival on the island of Ireland later this year. So my understanding, that's a 2-month programme by Fáilte Ireland. So my question, I suppose, is what's the call to action for Northern Ireland foodie destinations, Northern Ireland food tours, Northern Ireland food businesses? Is there an official Tourism Northern Ireland involvement in that Fáilte Ireland or Tourism Ireland campaign?
Well, Christine, you've got me to my closing notes. We do have a really exciting initiative that we have been working as tri-agencies with Tourism Ireland and Fáilte Ireland, as we said, and specific details of that will be launched to the industry in the forthcoming weeks. And within that, in the same way that we did with Your Food and Drink, we'll talk about what are the marketing opportunities we're creating, how you get involved in the brand, opportunities for creating bespoke experiences that we want to orientate not only visitors on the island of Ireland, but also those international visitors that are coming in. And for us, this is about building out from the great success that we had on the back of Your Food and Drink. But full details on that will be launched in a Pacific. I think there's a lot of information to be taken in today, and what we'll do is we'll run a Pacific event on it itself. Thank you.